Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today we're Masechtas Bava Batra Daf Ayin. We're going to begin on Ayin Amud Aleph, the third line from the top. Bamine Rav Acha Bar Hunim Rav Sheshes. So we were learning that when a person says I'm selling a field stam, when it comes to the selling of something choshev like a chorov or shikma, these are considered to be choshev mifnei and therefore not part of the deal. Now the question is, what if you actually stipulated and you said chutz michorav ploini, that I'm excluding from the sale this particular chorav, this particular tree, chutz mitzaden ploini, or excluding this older tree, mahu oisu chorav hu dolikani? Maybe all you're doing is saying that this one tree is not included. Mashma hashar charuvin kani. Even though normally, maybe if you wouldn't have said it, the din is that it would not have been included. But the fact that you said excluding this one tree, maybe it means only one tree and not the other ones. The other ones are included. Well, no, maybe we should say that none of them are included. Says the Rashba. Chutz mechorav. V'hoyu bo harbi charuvin v'tzana mahu. You have a lot of these trees. The im havi shosik, if you would have been quiet, klal sada, then it wouldn't have been part of the field. The fact that you mentioned one, maybe it means, because you should have said nothing. The fact that you didn't say something, you said one, maybe implies that the other ones are part of the deal. That you shouldn't lose your strength. And therefore it should work. Just give me a few lines. Rabbi Kiva, according to Rabbi Kiva, he agrees that if you would say except for these, so the whole question is, if you sold a field and let's say you kept a bore for yourself, whether you have to buy back the road, a derech to get to it. So according to Rabbi Kiva, who he said ba'ayin yafa moicher, so you'd have to buy it back. Now he says that if you would say chutz me'elu shin sarach likach lo derech, since you said that language, you would not have to pay for a road. V'hai chutz mechorav ploini dekaimer d'shayir derech l'hai dekel nischaven. Maybe he specified as he wants a path to get to the trees, and maybe that's all he's trying to say. Question 1. Sadazu mechor lachutz mechorav hamurka ploini. Mashir hamoicher la'atzmai, but mashipirish chutz mechorav diafil im shasak in mechlal. So what is he coming to possibly say? So according to the Rashbam, shar la'atzmo derech la'oisu chorav. Maybe all he's saying is that he wants a path for that tree. Well, girsas asfarim, however, according to the girsas asfarim, he quotes shir la'ois ba'oisu hasada shemacher dumei oisu chorav. Maybe he left over the value of that charav tree. Okay. Fine. Okay. Alright. Weiter. So that's the question. So I'm going to look on them. So the din is no. You're not cutting to these other trees. Eisvei, so we ask, that's straight out. You're just not cutting it. We ask another question. Chutz mechorav, if you say except for the chorav, ploini, chutz mesadin ploini, lod kana. So in that case, the buyer isn't kind of these things. Okay. My lav, is it not? Oiso chorav hudoli kana. Maybe it's not true. Maybe it only means that tree is not kaina. Hashar charuvim kana, but he is kind of the other ones. Normally low. If you shar charuvim namal kana. No. It does, again, it means that you're not going to the other ones. Why? In Teda. A beautiful proof. If I say, I'm selling you this field, excluding this other field. Now, what does that mean? You only don't get that field. Let's say I own 100 fields in all different countries in the world. And I have 2 fields. They say, I wanted to sell you this field, but not that one. Does not that one mean that you get all the other fields? Of course not. Ella lulkana, you're not cutting the other fields. Hachanam lulkana, you're not cutting the other trees. V'ikadamri, some say Bomine Rav Achabar Huna Merav Sheshes Chutz Michatzi Chorov Ploini Chutz Michatzi Sadan Ploini Mahu. You only said half of the tree, that you want to only exclude half of it. Now Sharcha Uvim Vade Loikani. Now the other trees, there's no question you're not going to be kind to them, because after all, even if you said nothing, you'd be able to keep. It wouldn't be part of the deal. Hamashishir ba'isa charav kani. However, maybe that which is left over, it is kaina. The other half actually is part of the sale. Well, dilma feel mashishir ba'isa charav namil kani. Even that half of that tree, if you will, also is not kaina. Loy kani. So ask Esve again. Chutz michatzi charav ploini. Chutz michatzi sadan ploini. So Shar Charuvin Lulkani. It says you're not kind of the other ones. My love, Shar Charuvin Lahudalaikani, Hamashashir Ba'isachar Kaina. But the other one is Kaina. So I'm like, whoa, I feel Mashashir Ba'isachar, Namilukani, not kind of anything. And again, it brings the proof. Teda, the Ilar Malay, Son of Machorallah, Chutz Mechatzi Sada, Plaini. I'm going to sell you this field, but not half of this other field. Now, Hahu, Deloy Kani, you're not going to be kind of that. Either kind you're going to be kind of other fields? Obviously not. Okay. So in both these cases, it is not a kinyan. Says the Rashbam, Chutz mechatzi sadin ploini mahu, lahai lishna pshitale the chutz mesadin ploini lokani nami shar sedanim. So according to this lashon, the second lashon, the first one is a double pasha, wouldn't work. Bamini Rav Amram Rav Chista Hamavkin etzel chavero bishtar. Let's say you have a person that lent someone something. He was actually gave something as a pikadain that you should hold on to for me some item. But I wrote a star. Says the Rashbam, shikasav kama hifkidlo. I wrote down how much I gave to you as a deposit or as safekeeping. V'chasmu be'edim. There was witnesses that signed it. V'hanile hashtar. The value of the star is the lomatzi tayin nifkad lahadam. You can't say lo hayu davar ma'olam. Okay, please have my pikadon back lahadam. Now I don't know what you're talking about. So at least the star will protect you. The oimelo back in the Gemara, hechzarti moch. He says, okay, that's true. I did have it, but now I don't have it. Mahu. So this is the Rashbam quoting Cheskas Abatim. Damafked es chavetzu be'edim. Because if you did give a pikadon to someone with Adam, ein sarach lahachzir be'edim. He doesn't have to give it to you with a witness, give it back. So therefore, normally you would say he can just say, I give it back to you. But here's different because it was a star. Says the Rashbam, Aval hacha dika star biyad hamafkid mirmina hachanam imhimin. So as he believed. So let's look at the svaras back and forth. The studim are like this. Since he has a migu, he could have said that something happened to it. So now he should be believed to say it was returned. So he didn't have any obligation if there was an einus that he would have to return it. So if an einus happened to it, he would have been potter. So Malu Shaker, he could be believed to say he returned it. Well, Dilma Armalay, or you could say what he means. Starch biyadi, my boy. Why is it still in my hand? If in fact it's true that the star that you gave it back to me, then the star should no longer be in my hand. You would have demanded that upon giving the pikadon back to me, that you would have asked for the star. And therefore says the Rashbam, Malu Shaker b'makam Adam dami. This star, because it was signed with Adam, it's keilu like this migu goes against a malu shaker. It's b'makam Adam. V'olamrinan malu shaker. You can no longer say this migu because the migu is, you could have said a better taina, but the other taina, you could have said a different taina, but that other taina you can't say because I have a star. So what's the din? So again, Shtarach Bayadi, my boy, Sarmalei Mehimin, Hitaka is believed to say it was returned. Valei Malay Shtarach Bayadi, my boy. I understand why would he be believed? It's a migu b'makam Adam. Sarmalei, okay. Well, Taimech, according to your reason that maybe we should not believe him. My boy, if let's say he says an inus, there's nothing you could do about it. You can say, "Oh, what do you mean? I have a star." It's nothing you can do about it. He doesn't have to pay you. Says the Rashba, since you could have had a tinus inus, so therefore Taka could have said that even b'makom star, and so therefore Taka has a migo. Therefore, that's it. So since he could have tined Nansu and gotten away with it, the fact that you have a star doesn't mean anything. So therefore, it makes sense that we're going to believe him that it was returned. So Amrle, as we continue to Ayin Amud Beis, well, 1 second. At the end of the day, Ki Amrle Nensu, if he did say it was an Einus, Lav Shvua boy, he would at least have to make a Shvua. It's not that he just completely goes off the hook over here. Hachinami my Neman b'Shvua. You're right. It doesn't mean that he's completely Neman, but it means if he makes a Shvua saying Nensu, then he would believe it, and that's it. Okay, now, Lema, let's say that this whole Gemara that seemingly has nothing to do with what we've been talking about is Beplukta Dehani Tanoi, is based on the following Machlokas Tanoim. So let's say the Machlokas of Rav, that which Rav Chisda said, is based on the following. The Sanya. Shtar kiss. Hayoitze al hayasaimim. So you have a shtar kiss in which basically, as we see over here in the Rashbam, Reuven shenasan ma'is Shimon. So Reuven gave money to Shimon, l'machsech schar, for being able to get half of the profits. V'kasav shtar, and he wrote a shtar, kama hifkilo, how much money he gave him. Umei Shimon. Now again, Shimon had this money, and now Shimon died. V'hoitzi Reuven oiso shtar al Yisayim. So Reuven is now producing the shtar among Shimon's children, saying, "L'tvoy mehem pikdaino," saying, "I want this money back I gave him." Obviously, the children don't know this, but their time is maybe our father actually gave it, or possibly a times bari tainu. Maybe they were even more precise. They knew this happened. Milva b'alma. Now, if this was a regular loan that Reuven lent money to Shimon, then Shimon died, then Kuliyam Amayda de Nishma Reuven. All Reuven has to do is make a shvua that he actually gave Shimon money. But Gaiva call Hashtar mini assignment. He's able to get all of his money back. Their father has no taina, in fact that he died. Voy matzi tain nensu. Elohaya nishma shlo tiskabim in a to make a claim, to make a shua that was never accepted from the borrower, klum. Kagain shahaya tainu haleiva, the borrower makes his taina that I never borrowed from you. Avul hashta, says the Rashbam, deloy havikula milva. This is considered to be a shtar kiss, in which is considered half a loan, and the other is considered like half of deposit, because again it's being used for the sake of making a profit. So since it's not considered like a regular loan, if it was a regular loan, then Reuven could just make a shvua and get his money back. However, half of it is considered to be like a pikadon deposit, and half of it is considered to be a loan. Again, he gave him the money to work, and they would split the profits. So therefore, it has a different status, this shtar kiss. So what's the din in this case with regarding the assignment? So the Daini Goyla Amri, when it came to the Daini Goyla, they said that Nishma, Reuven can make a shua, but Gavakula, and he's able to collect everything. However, Daini Eretz Yisrael Amri Nishma b'Gava Mechsa, he's only able to collect half, and that's it. He can get half. Now, the Kuli Alma Islahud and Ardoi. Everyone holds like the din of Nardoi, the Amri Nardoi, Hai Iska, when it comes to a shtar kiss, this business deal. Again, I give you money and you do work and we split the profits. that palga, it's considered to be palga milva, palga bikadin, that a star kiss again takes upon itself half of your loaning money, but it's also half of deposit money. That's what the halachic status is. Says the Rashbam, Chatzi shenoitu memenu harevach, the half, the profit, upalga, chavi bikadin gabe. It's like a bikadin. Menu chayiv b'achriyusa. It's not chayiv like a lien. The hapalga dikashakil mimena mafkid ravcha, because he's getting the profits. Dikaksas achrayis al zeh ksas al zeh. V'im nigna v'ovad hakol ein ha'echad mafsid hakoil el bein shneihen. The loss is between both of them. So my love hakamifgi. Damar savar matzi armulei shtarch biyadi. My boy, one could say the star is in my hand, and therefore it's clear that when it comes to a pikadon that you have my pikadon, or we even can say you have my money. Mar savar lo yamri, that you can't make that taina, and therefore you can't get the whole thing. So maybe that's the whole machlokas. Says the Rashbam, bepalga de bikadain, when they were dealing with half of the bikadain kamifagi, because the half of the loan certainly he gets. How about the bikadain? The oimer le'el, we said that neman bepalga is believed for half. The malve hakol moedim shenishma gayv. As we said, he can the lender. He can swear and collect the half, which is a loan. Tefil I havi avuhun kayim, even if their father was alive. Lo hamatzi toin hechzarti, he couldn't claim that it was returned. Skipping a couple lines. The whole question is aval bepalga da havi bikadain kamifgi. Rav Chisda dedaini goya the armanishma v'gaiva. Cool, you can collect everything. Lo sviruhu karav Chisda dier min neman. He doesn't believe, like he's not hold like Rav Nachman. That you're Rav Chisda, that you're believed. El I havi avuhun kaim, if the father was alive, he wouldn't have been believed to say it was returned. Even though he could say it was an oinus for the bikadon part, you should be my boy. He can say, what do you mean? I have the star in my hands. He can collect everything. However, Daini Eretz Yisrael Savi look Rav Chisda. Dilo Hebun kind the father was alive. Havi Matzu Mitain Hechzartocha. He could have said I returned it to you. The Migad Havi Matzu Lamemer Nansu. Vo Havi Idach Matzi Lamemer Shtarch Biadi. My boy, you can't say that Taina on Oinus. The Tanina Nami Hachi Bishvil Yasmi. We are Taina for the Yisayimim. Umishtabi Yasmi Shuas Yarshim, etc. Therefore, Goiva Mechsa Milva of a Bikadun Leisley. So maybe that's the machlokas, whether or not you can say this taina of shtar biyadi. So that's the possible machlokas. So lo the koyama isud Rav Chisda v'hachva kamifka demar savar. One holds im isa de pare. If it's true, if he paid it to the lender, meimer havi amar, then the father would have told him. So this is one svara that it's like it doesn't make sense. If it's true that the money was paid, the father wouldn't have kept it as a secret. That's not true. Maybe he couldn't tell them that he returned the money because he died suddenly. So therefore, it's not necessarily a raya that whether he didn't pay. Therefore, again, that's the question. If you pay half or all, is it possible to actually believe that the father would have paid and not told his kids? So it's possible. Okay. So a person again lent money to someone, or not lent, but gave money as bikadon to someone, and there's a star supporting that I gave this to you. And he says, I returned it to you, Neman. As we said, apparently because this person is believed because he has a migu. He can always tie in nensu. However, shtar kis, when it comes to a shtar kis, in this situation, you can collect everything. So for the Gemara Tarti, that seems to be a contradiction. So shani hasam dim isa de pare mimra havi amar. In other words, it's possible, as we said, that really he has the time that I gave the whole thing back. But over here, it's difficult to believe that that's actually what happened, because if that's actually what would have happened, the father would have relayed this information to his children before dying. Okay, fine. So that's the answer. Hasam di'im isa the pari memer havi omar. Rabbi Omer hilchas nishma b'gad b'mechsa. The halacha actually is like the shita of the Daini Eretz Yisrael, that you only get half. Omer Mar Zitra hilchos Daini kedaini goyla. No, the halacha is like the Daini goyla, who actually they're of the opinion that you're goyva kakoil. So it's machlok is what we hold like the halacha. Omer Avinu Lamar Zitra ha'omer Rava said nishma b'gad b'mechsa. I understand. He said that you're nishma and you collect half, which again seems to be a question. So Amalei Anan did Daini Goyla Ibcha Masnisin law. Actually, they said the opposite. Says Rashbam, the Daini Goyla Amri Nishma B'Goyba Mechsa Dainu Nami Karava. He has the opinion it was the Bnei Goyla, not the Daini Eretz Yisrael, but it was the Daini Goyla that said that you only collect half. Okay. So that's a way around it. Question 2. We're going to stop there. Sholach huna Rabbi Lezer hamavkid etzel chaver b'shtar v'yomel hechzarti, and he said I returned it neman. However, v'shtar kis, he's believed that he gave it back. V'shtar kis hayetzel yisamim nishma v'goyva kulo. He collects it all, which is mashma the father would not have been believed. So kasha the tarted the saserhu l'chayra. This is an absolute stira between these two opinions. So how do we understand this? Fine. So he says, Shani Hasam Deimi said Avihim Para, that the father would have had paid back. Memer Havi Amr B'Shas Misa. He would have told his children. Hilkach Lo Tainin Liasmi. Base is not going to be tining for the Yisayimim. Afga de Avihin Hayan Neman Im Hayatayin. If the father was alive, he could have said that he did give it back. But the fact is, we don't believe that he gave it back, because if he would have said this to his children. It would have been something that would have been a Davar Yadua. And therefore, it's this person is not, we're not going to be believing him. Okay, question TA24. Shtar kis hayotze al yisaimim. So daini goyel amr nishma v'gavakula. Everything. Madulo taninan hechzarti. Why can't the yisaimim claim it was given back? Al chati pikadein b'migu denensu. So one answer, Pashit, is Di'ayimrule Shtarch Biyadi, my boy. They're not believed because the person has a star. Or Im Isa the Para Memor Havi Amar. Again, they should have had this claim. They would have known that this was true. Their father would have told them B'Shas Misa. Okay, question TB 25. Same question as what I wrote. Rak b'yasmi lo neman, v'otayin b'shvilam, mibnei she'im kain la'aba shalhem, kvar hishlim es ha'kesef, if he paid, hu b'vadei omer es ha'davar hazeh levanecha. He would have said this to his children. Mibnei she'hu omar klum, since he said nothing, anachnu l'otayin b'shvilam, afal pi she'im ha'aba omer b'chayecha hechzarti shu neman al zeh. Beautiful. Adkan.